You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, dames, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're having a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're checking this out. Happy Halloween month. I hope you're enjoying your October. I've got a review for another horror movie for y'all in the Blackening, which is directed by Tim Story, who admittedly has a bit of a spotty track record going through Tom and Jerry. I actually don't mind Tom and Jerry. It's not great, but Space Jam and New Legacy is far worse. But Tom and Jerry, the latest Shaft film, which I actually do enjoy. Ride Along 2 and Ride Along Think Like a Man. First one's good, second one, eh. Oh god, what else? Fantastic Four. He did Fantastic Four, which, yeah. And he directed Taxi, which, god damn, Taxi's such a piece of shit movie. But he directed Barbershop and India Aries Brown Skin music video. So it's again, very much a very mixed bag. But this film goes ahead and stars quite a few people of color, including Grace Byers. You most likely know. You probably know her from Empire. I watched maybe. God, I think I watched a season of Empire. So what do you want me to say? But she was also on The Gifted as Reva, which I actually really dug her on The Gifted. Jermaine Fowler, you definitely know from from Coming to America, Sorry to Bother You, and The Drop, to name a few. He also voices James Jr. on Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which if you have not checked out Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, you need to check out Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Melvin Gregg is also in this. You know him from Snowfall, which, goddamn, if you have not seen Snowfall, you need to watch Snowfall. He's also on American Vandal on the way back. I'm going to review Snowfall at some point. That's quite the undertaking, but I'm going to get to Snowfall at some point. And so there are other people who I'll get into. So, okay. Shout out to my friend Brandon, and shout out to Nick over at the Afternoon Tune. Both of them were telling me, like, Hunter, you'll dig this movie. And so, in prepping all these Halloween reviews for October, I really was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, let's see what we want to go ahead and review. What do I want to knock out? And this is one of those movies I've been wanting to watch anyway. And after watching it, I gotta say, I rented this originally. I think I paid like $3.99 to rent it, and then I just went ahead and bought it because I went, you know what? This is a movie I actually want to put into the Halloween rotation moving forward. This will be a movie I watch every year around Halloween time. I fucking adore this movie, and I have to give Tim Story some credit because I really was worried that all of the best jokes, and I think a lot of us feel like this, especially when we watch trailers for comedies. You get worried that the best trailers or the best jokes are in the trailer, and I was a little worried about that. And luckily, that is not the case. This is written by Tracy Oliver and Dwayne Perkins, who's also actually in the movie playing Dwayne. Go figure. Tracy Oliver, you know her from writing The First Wives Club, which is, I believe, that Tyler Perry movie, or that Tyler Perry show. It was a movie, and oh god, yeah, it is, yeah, First Wives Club. I don't know if that's in any correlation with the movie, because Tyler Perry had some. Oh, I think it was like Single Moms Club. But yeah, she went ahead and wrote for that. She went ahead and wrote for Harlem, which if you have not watched Harlem, that's on Amazon Prime Video. Definitely worth your time. And she wrote Girls Trip. So she definitely has some experience as far as writing stuff that tends to be successful. So the short answer as far as what this movie is about is seven friends go ahead and haven't seen each other in, I think they said like a decade, like since college. They've seen each other here and there, but as far as them all being gathered in one spot, it's been since college. So all these friends go ahead and decide to meet up at this cabin and go ahead and hang out and smoke and drink and party. And then, of course, wouldn't you know it, a mass killer shows up and basically says, I'm going to fucking kill all of you. And it's one of those movies where, you've heard the concept of people getting trapped in a cabin in the woods. There's literally a movie called The Cabin in the Woods. So, so what is going to make this so different? And when we think about black horror, we obviously have to think about, stuff like what Jordan Peele has done, and what Nia DaCosta did with Candyman, and Vampire Brooklyn. And, we have to think about those films. And Jordan Peele is actually coming out with I want to say it's a book of all black horror writers, which I'm definitely going to get because I'm very curious on what that project's going to look like. But oh god, I'm thinking about when I think about black horror films, I haven't reviewed it for the channel yet. I'm probably going to the Lupita movie, Little Monsters, which is like a musical zombie horror movie. I'm probably going to review that. I always think about Octavia Spencer and Ma, because that movie just creeps me out with some of the stuff Octavia Spencer does. But there's been a lot of, especially over the last 15, 20 years, there's really been a renaissance, I would say, of black representation in horror. I think about something like Bad Hair, which is on Hulu, which if you haven't watched that, you definitely should. There's a lot of good, just excellent black horror out there, which you should definitely take the time to watch. I think about something like, Black Mirror. Shit, there's so much stuff out there. You just have to look. And while I would say my biggest quote complaint unquote about this movie is that this isn't a horror film in the sense of there's not like a ton of blood, there's not a lot of gore. So if you're more into that vein of horror, you may not like this as much as other people will, because there's not a lot of horror in it from that perspective. With that said, the opening of this movie with Yvonne Orji and Jay Farrow, pardon me. So first off, Jay Farrow really should be in more shit, and it bothers me that he's not. Like, he really should be a bigger deal for as great of an impressionist as he is, and he got a raw deal on SNL. Like, that's still one of those things I just go like, but Yvonne, from Night School, Insecure, and she's amazing in Vacation Friends. She's so good on Vacation Friends. But and also, if you haven't seen My Dad the Bounty Hunter, watch My Dad the Bounty Hunter. That's a really good show. I'm gonna have a review up for that at some point. But I love the fact that the movie even makes the joke of, oh man, we can't afford both of them to be throughout this whole movie, with the way the film opens up, which is very clever and I thought was a ton of fun. But something that's very fun about this movie and how it's presented is how it represents black culture and the concept of being black enough versus not being black enough. There's going to be a lot of social commentary that this movie brings up that I think is going to get lost in the shuffle. And I really don't think the film will ever get its true deserved props for that. Because something like this would be a perfect double feature with Jordan Peele's Nope. A movie that I think a lot of people are going to go back 5 years from now and go, oh, wow, I really should have appreciated this more in the moment. Because Nope is a fucking brilliant film. I know a lot of people, just didn't get it or didn't like it. That's not the film's fault. That's your fault for not getting the very clear goddamn message it's trying to go ahead and convey about how, there's a whole strike that's been happening in Hollywood because of the fucking point that Nope is trying to make. People, come on, all right? Sometimes critically think. There is going to be some message that's going to get lost in this, and that's not going to be appreciated. This is going to be a film that I think is going to age better as a couple Halloweens from now, and people go, man, I really should have. Why didn't I watch The Blackening in theaters? And I'll be the first to admit, I am right there. I'm actually kind of mad at myself that I didn't go see this in theater, because I think this would have been better for an audience. But I laughed my ass off while I was watching this. So I know I mentioned that the friends all end up meeting up at a cabin, but the game that you see in the trailer, the game called The Blackening, that fucked up Jim Crow game as one of the characters announces it. That was fucking funny. One of my favorite lines in the whole film is, the game probably runs on racism. That's one battery that's not going out anytime soon. And I just went, shit, we're 5 minutes in and you're saying that. Shit. That is one thing about the movie that I really did appreciate. There's a lot of jokes that you're going to go, it might take a second. You might not be an instant laugh, but you go, oh shit. There were multiple points where I went, that's some good social commentary. And again, I really think a lot of that, unfortunately, is going to get lost in the shuffle. There's a whole conversation about Android versus Apple between Ex-Mayo's Shanika and then Jermaine Fowler's Clifton. Clifton's very much portrayed as the Carlton of the group, and I love that whole conversation about Android versus Apple, because I hate that that's even a conversation. I have a Samsung, by the way. I was gonna say I like to upgrade my phone with whatever hard drive space I would like, but you can't do that with Android, at least with Samsungs anymore. So yeah, that was the only reason I really bought Samsungs before. Fuck, I might as well just turn Apple now. But I love that whole little debate that they have. And there are just these pockets where the movie, it's still obviously a part of the whole collective film, but there are these little side conversations that happen throughout the film that I went, oh wow, I actually like that you put a little side conversation here. Okay, we're back to the main plot. Cool. It really does work, and the more that it kept going on, I went, this is really fun. The friend group gives each other shit in the way that you would give people that you've known for 10 plus years. I've talked about it on the show here. I'm in a couple fantasy football leagues, and I get shit from, oh man, Colin still gives me shit. By the way, I beat Colin today. Haha, suck it. But the humor and the way that they give each other shit is very believable when you think about people that you've known for this long. And without getting too much into some of the more dramatic elements of the film and among the friend group, the drama that is brought up is drama that I very much went, yeah, there is drama like this in most friend groups. And, sometimes it's just that drama that everyone's aware of that no one actually speaks on, or sometimes it comes out in ways that it does in this movie. And I really appreciate the way that they sprinkle some of the drama in, because there's some hard truths here that are said amongst a friend group that you go, you can only say something that real and that raw to people that you know that well. And it really does work when those more emotional beats are gone ahead and thrown in. Without spoiling anything, the whole reason why there's a killer and why everything is happening, it ties back to social commentary in a way that I went, I love the way you brought that all back. And it does it really makes you rethink everything that you've seen. And I love horror movies like that make you go, well, shit, what about this? Or what about this? Or does this person have a point? Or are they wrong? Like, it really does just make you question everything. And I found myself thinking about this movie hours after I watched it, which is something that for a comedy, you can't always say, you rarely say, I would say, for comedies, that you think about them from a social perspective hours after you've seen it. But this film does a great job of giving you something to really chew on while still keeping you very entertained. And my God, I was entertained this whole time. There's a question that the game asks about Friends, the TV show Friends, and I won't spoil the punchline, but it's one of my favorite laughs I've gotten all year. And I went, okay, just off that alone, you're at a B plus, because I actually had to pause the movie. I was crying so hard because I was laughing so much. I love that punchline. I went, yep, that's perfect. Bravo, whoever wrote this part in particular. Bravo, tip of the cap, top marks, everything. Just everything to you. God, I love the payoff that joke so much. So one of the lines I will spoil because I don't want to spoil the jokes in here, because part of the jokes, like part of the fun of this movie, are the jokes that I just found myself rolling over. There is a reference to O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and that's all I'll say. I won't spoil the punchline. But that whole dialogue, I went, holy shit, that takes some balls to write. And, oh my God, wow. Like, it's one of those things that's going to piss some people off. And just knowing it's going to piss some people off made me even happier. I went, yep, love this so much. The mass killer, there's a point where they're basically kind of doing like a radio broadcast, and they played this like fucking banjo. It's very Deliverance. I did not like it. That actually gave me the creeps, so I have to give the movie some credit for that. I was so happy to see Diedrich Bader in this. He plays the Ranger in the movie, Ranger White, go figure. You know him from Office Space as Lawrence, most likely. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but you know him from voicing Bruce Wayne, Gorilla Grodd, Batman in Harley Quinn. He also voiced Batman in is it Brave and the Bold? Oh gosh, I'm blanking on which he's voiced Batman. I feel like it's Brave and the Bold, but yeah, he's voiced Batman multiple times. He's fucking great. I was so happy to see him in this. You of course know him from Veep as well, but yeah, he was so awesome in this. I was like, I saw him, I was like, oh shit, let's go. So really happy to see him, and he has a great response to a cookout question. And again, I won't spoil the punchline, but his response to this whole dialogue about black people and cookouts is something I went, fuck, that is actually brilliant. I can't critique that at all. It's such a wonderful surprise. That's the biggest compliment I can give this movie. It kept surprising me over and over and over again. And I was having so much fun. At the end of the day, that's the best thing I can say about this. It's so much fun. And as a person of color, I'll end up showing this to my partner at some point. Like, it's something that she'll probably watch with me and go, okay, I get why you find this to be so fun. And she'll laugh at this. Like, you don't have to be black to enjoy the Blackening. But I had such a blast with this. This is a solid A for me. I really enjoyed this, and like I said, I bought it. It's going to be part of my yearly Halloween rotation now. I absolutely adore this movie. So yeah, The Blackening, check it out. It's pretty fucking great. But The Blackening, have you seen it, everybody? What'd you think of it? Let us know in the comments. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know if you have any comments, any ideas on stuff you'd like me to review, or if you just want to say hello. Go ahead and shoot me an email at jhunter@therealpineapple.com. You can follow me on TikTok at jhunterrealpineapple, and you can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. You can follow me on Blue Sky at jhunterrealpineapple. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Go ahead and rate us. It definitely helps us out. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts at The Real Pineapple. You can go ahead and follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us there as well. Just go ahead and search The Real Pineapple, REEL Pineapple, and you'll go ahead and find us. And you can find all of our stuff, all of our links and all that jazz at linktr.ee/jhunterrealpineapple. And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/jhunterrealpineapple. I am hopping on Twitch. I swear to God, I'm hopping on Twitch here next month. Had something happen with the graphics, but I'm getting it figured out. Don't worry, I will be on there, and I will be streaming some games, talking some movies. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into solo Twitch streaming. There we go. But gonna have some more Halloween reviews for y'all, including all the reviews for the Scream movies so far, as well as a review for Rear Window, The Birds, The Invisible Man, The Cable Guy, to name a few Halloween films. I'm real excited to bring those reviews to y'all. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Get your COVID booster if you haven't gotten it yet. Go ahead and get vaccinated if you haven't gotten it yet. Please get vaccinated. Stay safe out there. Get your flu shot. I didn't get my flu shot last year, and it kicked my ass around November. So let's make sure we're getting our flu shots, everybody. But again, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there, and don't forget to keep it real.